like if you're a parent, like it's totally fine to teach your kids to like give a shit about others and give a shit about where they come from and everything else. I think that's deeply important. But not at the expense of themselves. Ultimately.
That's right.
You can't. And it sounds so fucked up. It's like, you got to help the community. But, I can't help the community if I can never leave, if I can never try to expand myself. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Terrence.
What's up?
And Tiara.
Hey.
All right, guys, we are back. Micah is out this week. I think he'll be out next week as well, and then he'll be back. All right, so this is episode 270, Rob Peace. This is the 2024 American biographical drama, written and directed by Chiwetel Ejiofor. The premise here is Yale University graduate Rob Peace, known as Shaun at the time his father was arrested for crimes he may not have committed, turns to drug dealing in order to get his father out of jail while maintaining other activities. This is starring Jay Will, Mary J. Blige, and Chiwetel Ejiofor. So, this movie is brand new, so you have to rent it on like Amazon or something like that. So make sure you check that out. Look, I will go to Terrence first. Terrence, what did you think of this movie?
It was fine. Performances were fine. The movie doesn't do anything amazing. It does tell a pretty fucked up story. The story, I didn't know anything about the story when I read it. I just went in blind. It's pretty sad. I think it's a pretty solid first directorial debut for Chiwetel Ejiofor. I've never seen this kid that plays the main character, Jay Will. He was very good. Mary J. Blige just reminded me of Monday Tejada through the whole movie. I don't know if you've seen Power. If either of you have seen Power, book 2. But yeah, it was fine. Like, wasn't anything special to me. Just a regular ass movie,
Okay. Tiara, your thoughts?
If this wasn't a true story, I would probably feel more aligned with Terrence, but like knowing that not only this is true, but it happened fairly recently within like the last decade or so.
Yeah.
It just makes it sad. Maybe it's me because I've become more emotional lately in my older years, but I do cry at movies and TV shows.
Wow.
Or I guess so. Like, there were just some moments that made me go, like, man, like this is it's a very sad ending that feels common for a lot of kids who have a bright future, but are bogged down by different circumstances, especially if you have, one parent who is pushing you to do all these great things, and you have your family that's excited for you because you want to start a facility to cure cancer and stuff like that. And then you have another parent that is in some ways being gamed by the system and trying to do right by your people as that parent has instilled into you, even to the detriment of your own future. Right. And then like the tragic ending of it, it's just, I don't know, it just, knowing that this was a real person who had such a bright future and was on the right path, it's so hard to not wonder what if. And and I feel for his mom, like in real life. And I don't think him dying is a spoiler because the book itself is called the Tragic Life of Rob Peace or something like that.
Short and tragic.
Yeah, the short and tragic. And that's what it was, short and tragic. And there's no other way to really say that. Almost feels anticlimactic in a way, like with the way his or I guess with the way the movie ends. It's just yeah, it's really sad, but also like great performances all around. And I know Chiwetel Ejiofor wanted to do Rob's story justice. I read a couple interviews with him talking about taking this book and talking to his mom and talking to the friend. and turning this into a film over the last, like, I guess, decade now.
Yeah. Look, I thought it was good. I agree. I think it's a pretty good, sort of directorial debut by Chiwetel Ejiofor. Also, written by him, written for the screen.
Yeah.
So I thought he did a good job. I've not read the book, so I don't know if it's like a perfect translation or anything, but I thought it was pretty competent. I thought the performance by Jay Will and Chiwetel Ejiofor and Mary J. Blige was all pretty good. Like, Mary J. Blige at this point, her acting feels more of just an extension of her personality, but it works, like, because she feels real, right? Like, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
it all depends on the role she's playing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it really depends on the role.
Yeah, as long as she's not dancing around, I don't need that. But
countertops about chicken.
Oh, that's a sad moment. Everybody tries to forget that. Like, we love Mary J. Like, let's just all move on. But she does a really good job of just kind of coming off as very real, like as a real mother. Chiwetel Ejiofor, I really don't have any complaints about his performances almost ever. So he's very good in this. And I thought Jay Will was good. Like, he's a good grounding point for the movie. I thought he was very good. As far as the story it tells, it is tragic. I mean, it's the best. I mean, it's quite literally the best word you can use for it. The movie kind of, you get a lot of hope. It's like a roller coaster, right? Like, you get a lot of hope in this, this genius black kid, and he's like making it and all this other stuff. And he gets to Yale, and it's really great. And then it gets this downturn, right? As, like what he ends up doing, selling drugs to help his father. And then, you kind of get out of that, and then you're like, oh, okay, it's like going to be, and then it gets right back into it, and you're like, all right, you can see where this is all going. So I thought it worked in a lot of ways. But yeah, it's, if you don't want to see a story that doesn't have a happy ending, I don't recommend the movie. Like, I just don't. But it's also real. Like, this happened for real. It's not, it's not a made up story where they're just like, yeah, let's make everybody sad at the end. Like, that should happen. So his life is worth telling about. So, it kind of is what it is. So yeah, all in all, I enjoyed it, but it's definitely not the funnest watch I've ever had. Right? It's not Mississippi Damned or anything, but
there was some happy times in this movie.
There are some happy times in the movie.
I mean, and I think some people can
fucking Christ.
There are some people that can probably relate or know people who've seen black kids with bright futures or could have been world changers have their lives snuffed out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
And I was going to say, and then, and I was actually hoping Michael would be here because I wanted to get his point of view on if he is the father in this situation, or even you, Jamie, you can give your point of view on how you would act if that was your son.
Or if you got accused of something that
or
you may or may not have done.
Wait, am I the Rob piece in this scenario, or I'm the dad?
You both.
Yeah, I mean, look. So let's talk about the sort of overarching conversation, right? Before I answer it, which is like the overarching conversation in the movie is: do you sacrifice yourself and your potential to sort of stand by your people? Right. There's a great line in this movie that I really, really liked. I should have written it down. But the line for the most part is you're never standing in the wrong direction if you're standing by your people. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that line. And it was like you could tell like Chiwetel Ejiofor was like, I'm in my fucking
he's like, I ate that.
Yeah. He's like, that's me. That's all me, son. But that's a really powerful line. And so that idea of, do you sacrifice yourself in order to help your community, to help your family or whatever? And that's a hard question, right? Like to me, there is no correct answer, right? I can understand somebody saying, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for these other people. I'm gonna put shit on the line to protect them. And also at the same time, you destroying yourself doesn't help anything.
Doesn't do anybody any good.
Right, exactly. And that's actually what ends up happening, right? Like, he quite literally puts everything into trying to sacrifice, not just in the case of his dad, but like his friends too, right? Like, because ultimately what ends up causing him to go back into drug dealing is the subprime mortgage nightmare in 2008 that kind of fucks all their plans, and his friends end up losing everything they have. And so he feels obligated to help, which is honorable, right? Like, it's a very, like, the manner in which he dies is for honorable reasons. So, like, as a dad, if I'm the kid's dad in this, and I'm innocent, when he helps to get you out that first time, right? I'm obviously grateful and appreciative of that. But when I go back in, you're going to Yale. Like, that is, you concentrate on that. You have to concentrate on that, because whether I get out or not, you have to make it. You have, like, this is a ridiculous thing for me to say, the following thing, but I think it's also a powerful line in that movie that I think a lot of people miss. There's a line in that Barbie movie, right, where she's talking to the woman who created Barbie, right, and she said, like, the Ruth Adler, I think is the woman who created Barbie. What she says is, mothers stand still so their daughters can see how far they've come. Right? When they turn around, they can see how far they come. That's a powerful line, right? The idea you have to, in a lot of ways, you have to stand there and take the brunt of shit for your kid to move forward. You have to. And, whether he's innocent or not, sometimes you have to let your kid, you got to be like, you got to let me go. Because otherwise, if I hang on to you, you'll never make it out. And his father didn't do that. Right. Right. Like, he was his father. Right. I mean, understandably, like, if he was innocent, understandably, you want to be like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, I'm in jail, nigga. Like, but there was a part of him, that selfishness, that he could not say, you got to leave here and you got to never come back, or you got to come visit me, but you got to stop trying to get me out of jail. Your success is my freedom, so to speak. So that is easier said than done. I'm not in that situation. I'm not in fucking prison, right? So I can say that as I sit here in my office in air conditioning, right? So, but I would think that is the perspective I would have as a parent, especially if I had a kid who was in, like, Ivy League and was a fucking genius. I'm like, nigga, go get out of here. Like, just go and make it. Now, as the kid, I would want to do what he did. Like, I'm not selling drugs. Like, fuck that. But I would want to do everything in my power to help my parent, right? Like, you just do. That is, you're connected to them in unmeasurable ways. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, that's really hard. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the movie is filled with all of these, like, moments, but I don't think any of them are necessarily wrong answers. I think they're necessarily wrong choices, but the idea of, do you push as much as you can to help your parents, or, so on and so forth, or try to help your neighborhood or help your friends? That's the right mentality. It's just the manner in which he does it is what screws him ultimately.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that? You guys don't have kids, but
if I was the kid, I would, like, I'm a genius. I know I'm going to pass Yale. I know whatever program I get into, I'm going to smoke it, right? And I understand my father's in prison, but you also have to understand, like, he did shit prior to him being locked up that led up to him being in this particular situation that put him in jail. I had a father that he wouldn't have been in that situation.
Right.
Like, my father would have never gotten himself into that situation. You know what I'm saying? So, as a kid, like, he's a genius. Again, you have to understand, hey, like, I know you might be innocent, or you probably are innocent, but, like, you were still doing some wild shit that put you into a situation where the cops would lock you up and throw away the key. And that's fucked up. But I would still be like, let me do what I have to do, get through college and everything, become probably wealthy, depending on what I do, and then come back to try to help you out. But, like, not while I'm in the midst of being in college. I have too much on my plate. Being in college, doing all the stuff, doing extra work, taking different jobs and everything, and studying, and also trying to raise money to get you out of jail. I can't do that. Like, I love you, but I can't do that, because I'm sacrificing myself before I become what I can truly become. Like, let me become what I become. Yeah, you're gonna be locked up for a minute, but then I'll try whatever I can in my power to get you out. As the father, I wouldn't try to hold you back. It's like, I fucked up. That's my fault that I'm in here. So, like, do what you got to do. I get it. I'm innocent, but I'm not going to hold you back. Because he was being wild selfish. He said, you promised me. I was like, yeah, I did. And I got you out, but you got put back. And like, look, man, I'm a kid.
Yo, bro, I was in high school.
Right, I'm a kid, man. I'm 17. Oh, the fact that I got you out to begin with is kind of a fucking miracle.
Right.
So yeah, like if I was a kid, if I was a father, I'd be like, I understand. Do you, dog?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just be pissed. But then he got cancer, right? I'm like, God damn it. So that's the fucked up part. So,
but he literally handicapped his entire future trying to save his dad, like he did, and then ultimately losing all of that. Tiara, what was your thoughts on that?
I think I don't know if I could have, if I'm the father, if I'm the parent, I couldn't have asked my child to dedicate so much time and try to find money for the best lawyers to try to get me free. I think the first time, as Taryn said, like in the movie, it's almost like on like a technicality, only because like they had a judge who was sympathetic, and knew that there was like I think a witness or something that had died or something.
Yeah.
For the
wasted
first
too much time.
Yep. Yeah. So he basically wasn't given a speedy trial.
Right. So I mean, but that's not. I mean, yes, that's partially due to Shaun's diligence, but after that, like knowing if my child had a super bright future going to Yale, probably brighter than myself and his mother, and I'm gonna go into that in a little bit, have dreamed, my life is over. You know, I would have to accept that my life is over as I knew it, but my child's life, you know, is literally just beginning, right? And then I think if I was Shaun, I feel like I would have this insane amount of pressure to live by that line. You are never standing in the wrong direction as long as you're standing with your people, because my dad will be my people. But so is my mom, right? In that instance too. And I think that part is really important, because where the father was being selfish and asking Shaun to do whatever he could to get him out a second time, you had Mary J. Blige's character, his mom, doing everything she could to get him out the house. You even heard her say, like, I'm sending him to private school. Yeah. And I'll figure it out 3 years from now when it's time to enroll him. Like, she is, it's almost like they're opposites in how they view Shaun's life. Like, I think even if she were in that situation, she would have told him, you know, not forget about me, but you can't be handicapped or handcuffed by my situation. You have to go find a way to go live your life, which is why his mom was working 3 different jobs and willing and having him calculate like the budget, whatever, so that they can save or whatnot. That is a level of selflessness,
yes,
that is so stark in this movie compared to everything else, which I think makes the tragedy of his life ending that much more tragic. Because even if one parent was, you know, locked up, in whether if he was innocent or not, you know, but you had one parent that really did everything she could to make sure that you succeeded, and the pressure that he was probably feeling to not just help his dad but help his friends ultimately led to his downfall. And now, you know, I don't think he had any siblings, so, you know, there is nothing else to look forward to. That's it. That's the line.
Yeah.
That future is gone. Like that future ends with his mom. So I think when you think about it that way, it is very, it's very sad. But like, yeah, if I was in either situation, I think that's how I would act.
Yeah, that whole idea of like selflessness and selfishness is the sort of the two paradigms that are at play here. Like it's fascinating. So that's a very good point. All right, let's get into the movie and see what's what. All right, so the movie opens. This is like maybe 1986 or so, and we see Shaun. That's how he goes in the beginning of this movie, and Jackie, Shaun's mother, and Chiwetel Ejiofor, his father. His father's coming to pick him up. They're clearly not, the mother and father are clearly not together, and you just kind of get this general premise of like, all right, here come his like, it's like his shifty ass every time, right? Like he always got some like bullshit, and he's like, hey, I want to take him. Yeah, he always got a scheme going. He's like, I'm gonna take him up to Coney Island.
But my car won't make it.
Yeah, my car won't make it. Can I use your mom's car?
Nigga, I gotta go to church.
He always on some bullshit. And so yeah, like so you get this idea about just kind of the general fuck up he is. But he's trying to be a good dad, right? Like he comes off as a good father, just kind of a fuck up in general, right? Like that's kind of the premise I get from him.
He's the fun parent.
Yay! Let's go to the Coney Island and don't do your homework and eat cookies and breakfast and stay up all night. Shit like that. Yeah, my parents weren't together either, so this is all very familiar to me.
They're gonna have PTSD and shit.
You're like, oh shit! This nigga's driving a very similar car. Like, my dad had a Riviera, a fucking big ass.
Come back to the present. God. You're not there anymore.
Yeah,
you're not that little boy anymore.
Look. Just as a side note, my dad had a fucking blue Riviera and a brand new Corvette, and that motherfucker used to drive me to school. I'm like, yo, can you drive me in the Corvette, my nigga? Why are we driving the Riviera? Like, were you trying to ruin my entire reputation in middle school?
My dad used to take me to Popeyes and Chuck E. Cheese. So much fun.
Yeah. See, he was the fun parent. Yeah. You ever make you do your homework? No. Your mom make you do your homework, don't she?
He suggested it.
He suggested it. This nigga ain't even looked it up.
He suggested it. You got to do your homework.
He was like, you want to do it? He's like, you could do it.
I mean, like, I still had to do it, but it was just like,
Nah, you ain't do that.
Chuck E. Cheese, yay!
Nah, you ain't do that homework.
Westview Mall, security.
Yeah.
Dolls.
And look. I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is Tiara's dad might have been one of these dudes asking for child support reimbursement.
No.
He on TikTok
now. No. Don't talk about my father like that. No.
Oh, nah.
They
don't have child support in Jamaica. Don't worry about it. That's Andy.
No more jokes about my dad. No.
Oh, all right. All right. So anyway, unlike Tiara's dad, this nigga's got a gun, and he keeps it in his glove box. So they pull up, and like he makes an excuse to make his son get out of the car. He was like, "Did you fart in my car?" And he's like, "No." And then he was just like really adamant about it. He's like, "Get out of the car, go stand over there." And then he went and got his handgun out of his glove box with some bullets, just loosely in the glove box.
All right.
And
how we doing this?
I saw that, and I was like, because I didn't know how this movie was going to like go, but I saw that, and I was like, this is why his mama came out looking out the house the way she did, because she knew, she had a feeling. I'm like, take the no good back home. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like she know this nigga. The nice thing though, before this, he's doing math problems with him, like while they're driving, and it's to show off that Shaun is a genius. Like this kid is doing high level math in his head, and he's like 6 or 7 years old. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I wish I could do math like that. I've always been kind of jealous of people that could do math so easily. I could, because I'm terrible at it. Like I can do regular math, addition and shit. Like once you start getting to like algebra,
like why the math got letters in it, my nigga? Like
why the fuck X off or what, nigga? I don't.
The reason I asked me to calculate percentages, I do not know.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't.
Here, let me solve this for you. Percentagecalculator.net. It exists. It all the time. I'm actually pretty good at math, but I'm not good at like doing it just in my head. Like, give me a piece of paper and shit, like I can do it. But in my head,
Yeah.
fuck no. What am I? Am I a robot? Get out of here. And Micah, I know he can't do math because he disagrees with Terrence Howard's math. So how good could he be? This nigga thinks 2 times 1 is 2.
1 times 1 equals 2.
Like, if you smart, you would know.
Yeah.
The flower of knowledge. So his father takes him because his car broke down. He can't take him to Coney Island. His father's just like, I guess we just gonna go around the neighborhood.
Let's go to the stoop. We're just gonna go to the stoop.
Like,
Okay.
that's the best I got. So they go and they hang out at this like apartment building, I guess, that his buddy lives at. His buddy Carl, also that shady ass dude from The Wire, and so they all just sit out. Him and a bunch of guys from the neighborhood. They all sit out and listen to the baseball game, like in front of Stu. It's like totally innocent. Everybody's cool. And so you're kind of wondering why.
What dude from The Wire?
The dude, the guy, he says Carl, and he like peeks his head out. Yeah, that dude was in The Wire. He was one of.
Really?
He was Marlowe's like right hand man. He had like a terrible beard. Yeah, it's the same guy. He's
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure. I'm 100% sure. You can look him. I forget his name. It's like a mad African name. He's in the Wikipedia. Like Benga. I'm just not gonna try. But yeah, it would be really rude. He's a good actor actually too. So they're watching the game or listening to the game. And these women roll up. One of them is like drunk as a fucking skunk. And they're like, oh, he's like, yeah, where y'all going? They're like, oh, we going to the bar. You want to come and join us? And he's like, I would, but like, I got this whack ass kid with me and shit. So,
like, sorry, I'm such an inconvenience, Dad.
I mean, look, if he was like my dad, he would have just took me with him to the bar.
Right.
A 5-mile house when I was 7 years old. It was just fucking ridiculous.
Jesus Christ.
He let me order a Coke at the bar. I thought it was cool. My
God.
My mom did not think it was cool. Nigga, don't take him to Vulcan Blazers. What are you doing? My dad was certainly a parent. Anyway, I don't think any of his kids talk to him. Weird. So, he
really was kind of watching.
No, in a lot of ways, he just didn't go to jail. He wasn't a crime. He was a working man, but like, there's a lot of similarities in this movie. I'm like, yeah, all right. You saw what I did.
It's like I know the type.
Yeah, this all feels very familiar to me. So those women become more important later on, as you find out. 2 of them get killed in that apartment, like in that apartment building, and his dad is arrested for killing these women. And the one thing about this that I appreciated in the movie is you have no idea whether or not he did it. And that's I think that's actually a really good element to the movie, because if you as the audience knew one way or the other, you'd be like, don't do that, do this, right? Like, but because of that ambiguity, and the character of Shaun also has that level of ambiguity, but also he's sure that his dad is innocent, it lends for him to just kind of be like sort of nebulous about the situation, and he's just kind of floating from he's like ping pong from one situation to another in a lot of ways.
It makes it maybe not harder to like empathize, but it kind of, you can't help but empathize with Shaun in that moment. I think that if you knew if his father did and you still saw Shaun making these choices, you may not feel as sorry for him. But because you don't know if his dad did it, you're just like, well, okay, I understand why you're doing all of this, because you want to know just like we want to know, but we never find out. Damn, this movie is so sad.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I think it's fairly effective in not knowing. So, and I mean, you get a sense that he was in fact innocent. But again, you really don't know. Like you're still taking like third hand kind of information. They don't like this is what actually happened. Like they don't cut to
there's
it.
no concrete. There's no concrete. Even by the end, the guy's like, hey, like this is the gun. He used to handle that thing all the time. It's like, but still.
I mean, and even as an audience member, the audience can determine if they think he did it or not, and use that to guide them through the movie.
Right, and
that would have been reasonable doubt. He probably, if they would have provided that information in a courtroom, that would have been reasonable doubt. He probably would have gotten off.
Yeah,
whether he did it or not, So
absolutely. And look, again, that idea of the audience making the decision on whether or not he did it. In some ways, it's actually irrelevant because of the conversation that happens between Shaun and his dad at the end of his dad's life. That is the crux of it, and by that point, everything is kind of goes off the fucking rails. So it doesn't really matter. So you see this conversation between Shaun and his mom, right after his dad is found guilty and put in jail for life. By the way, so she's basically like, listen, why don't you go by your first name so people don't associate you with your dad being in jail, right? Go by your first name, Robert. So that's why the movie's called Rob Peace, right? And from this point on in the movie, he only goes by Rob. And so, we see him go to this sort of like Catholic school or what have you, or this like kind of religious school. And he's, this is what, 1994. So he's 14 years old. And this is in Newark, New Jersey, St. Benedict's prep school. And this is where he like learns to play water polo and, like he really gets to show off his, intellectual prowess. Like he's a fucking genius, quite literally. And this is all the like really hopeful shit, right? Like this is all feels good. Like, oh, little black boy making it, like doing his thing and like kicking ass. He's great at sports. He's also incredibly intelligent person. He's just kind of really doing it. The premise or excuse me, the motto of the school is whatever hurts my brother hurts me, which looking back at the movie, that's kind of the same as what his dad said, right? This idea of like, as long as you're standing with your people, you're never standing in the wrong direction. And all of these things about brotherhood and, being true to your people and your friends and your family, all of that sounds super positive. And it's the exact thing that destroys him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
it's just a different way of saying I am my brother's keeper.
Right.
Like
exactly.
Sometimes you don't have. Sometimes you shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta throw that nigga in the water.
Like, you all right? All right, you be good. Like, but like there is something, and I'm sure there's going to be people who don't quite understand this, but there is something to be said about a level of selfishness, right? Like his dad has a level of selfishness that ends up destroying his son's life, inadvertently. But if he had a level of selfishness, survived and lived quite well and then potentially helped his father, right? Like, so sometimes you have to push people away to actually help them, like you can't, like the idea of, like the most dangerous thing you can do, is try to save someone drowning, right? Because they will literally drown you.
They'll fight against you. Yeah.
Fight against you. Like, because they're freaking out so much. And it's like, sometimes you have to, like they say, like sometimes you gotta like fucking punch a person unconscious, like, or like really hurt them to get them to stop. That's a level of like,
really?
Yes. Like if that person is thrashing,
if someone's drowning and they're thrashing, they'll bring you right down with them if you're not strong enough. So you gotta kind of like either like choke them out, to fucking
hit them with an elbow.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because both of you will die. Like, so you're not helping anybody, right? So there's a level of selfishness, which is your self-preservation,
right,
to help them, right? Like, and it's kind of the same thing. Like he doesn't push his dad away or anything like that, and both of them drown, right? Like in that same.
Now the thing is, what Rob does is he promises his father that he's going to do whatever he can to get him out, and essentially his father holds him to that promise. He's a kid, so granted he shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But like he promised him he would do whatever he could to get him out. And like after he said that, he's like, You promised, nigga.
Like, nigga, I was
So you ain't a
12.
man of your word.
I mean, you're
Bro, I was a boy of my
So-
word. Relax.
Yeah, right.
Go
So
ahead,
it's kind of like,
child.
yeah, but still, you promised. Like, you promised. Like, I have my fingers crossed, nigga. Knock it off. I got you out once. Like, I got you out once. I promised. I kept my promise. I got you out.
Like, that's the best I can do for you. Like, that's all I got. Yeah, so you see, as he is going through high school and everything else, he is still working on the trial himself, right? Again, he's 14. He's taking pictures of the house. He's trying all of these things to understand what is going on, right? And then there's sort of a voiceover of this idea of how science is guiding his life and how his sort of critical thinking skills and everything else is leading him to do the things that he's doing, right? You see him again at 14 going to visit his father, telling him like, "Oh, I'm gonna work to get you out and everything else." Him and his buddies, who he's very close friends with, even as they become adults, they start like raking leaves to make money, and they are listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony, and I've not heard that song in 1,000 years, which was really funny to me. But yeah, this is like 94, 95, so that makes sense. And they're kids. Like, he's not necessarily growing up faster than other kids in a lot of ways, and I think that's what this scene is. Like, they're still kids. Like, don't
Right.
get it fucking twisted. And so he's using this money to like help his mom out because he knows his mom is kind of struggling. He's like making his mom dinner. I'm like, yo, this nigga's a superhero. Like, he made his mom a nutritious dinner. Like, yeah, it's got vegetables and shit in it. Like, this is amazing.
Here's the thing about this movie, because I'm watching all of this and I'm like, oh, so this nigga's perfect. I didn't know he was dead. So I'm like, oh, he wrote this book about himself to make himself look perfect. And then at the end, I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. Well.
Oops.
Like, God damn.
Surprise.
I was like, ha, nigga. I'm like, oh, well, I stand corrected. Maybe
Like,
he really
what?
was that good.
Like,
Good Lord.
let me shut up.
Like, I'm an asshole. Let me shut the fuck up.
Like, put Bone Thugs back on. Like, it's all right. So then we fast forward to 1998, where we're seeing him, like, he's at the tail end of high school, and the same judge who sentenced his father to prison, he basically got the case dismissed based on this idea that his father did not get a speedy trial, right? And they're like, all right, yeah, like, for the interim period, like, you get to go home. And they're just like fucking like baffled. Yeah.
Like, they move so fast with that appeal. I was like, damn.
Yeah. I'm
like I was surprised. I'm like, wow, y'all care about the murders of 2 Black women this much? Wow.
In New Jersey? Wow. Yeah. So yeah, they said basically the state had 30 days to appeal. They're like, yeah, right now you free to go, dog. It's like, all right, well, guess what? You never see me again. Like, I'm like, give me a one-way ticket the fuck out of this country. I'm gone.
Is that what would you
gone, nigga? Gone, nigga.
That would have been the Bollywood fucking Russell Simmons. Like, goodbye. Yeah. I'm going.
So no child support.
Namaste.
I'd be like, listen.
You really wouldn't pay child support.
Look. Hashtag. I need these payments forgiven. Like, come on now. Like, help me out, Kamala. No, I'm gone. Like, I'm on the first train across the southern border. I'm out of here. Like, get the fuck out of here. They're gonna appeal. Appeal what? Bye. Yeah. Fuck that.
I wish that was like the end of the movie. Like,
his dad just fucking bounced.
Like, goodbye.
Like, we can't find him. I don't know.
Like, I really because knowing how this was going to end, I wanted to be like, well, that was the end. He got the appeal, but he was already gone. That's the end. Nothing else to see. Nothing to talk about.
Yep, that's it. Like, the wild shit is, I will happily admit, I was like 2/3 of the movie, like through 2/3 of the movie, and I was like, this movie is stressing me out. I almost wanted to pull the TR. I was like, let me go ahead and read the Wikipedia and find out the end. This is making
I
me
will
up.
also like to say there is no Wikipedia plot for this.
I know.
Tried looking it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, see, yeah.
Oh, you. Like again, I didn't know any of it. I didn't know.
It was
anything.
stressing
I
me
just went in.
out.
No, it's a stressful movie. I was like, oh, he gonna make. Oh, he ain't gonna make.
No.
I'm
So
a
that
soldier.
nigga started
I mean, I
selling
already
drugs.
knew
I'm like,
he- I
don't
already
do
knew he
that.
died.
I was so mad, yeah.
I was
knew he
furious.
You
died.
said you knew
Towards the end.
I didn't.
But
So when
I
you were selling
need
drugs,
to
I'm
know
like, oh, this
how.
nigga made it out. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, when he didn't get caught the first time, I was like, yes, success. We going to grad school, nigga. No, we not going to grad school. Oh, okay.
Oh no, we.
All right, we going back to the neighborhood. Oh, come on, dog, don't do it.
Nigga starting building houses. It's like it's 2007. I'm like, shit. God damn it.
Yo, Bear Stearns is coming, my nigga. You need to get out of real estate. Don't do it. So you find out his dad is out. And then you find out his mom comes home, and she's like, "Yo, you got into Yale." And his first response is like, "I got in." She's like, "You got into Yale?" He's like, "You opened my mail?" Like he was mad about
Yeah, come on,
mail
yeah,
fraud. Like,
Yeah.
that's for me. So they're super excited. Look, they're sitting at the table. His mother is crying. He's like, "Ma, you got to stop. Like it's not, it's not a big deal." I know my mother. There's no way she wouldn't stop. She would still be crying if I got into Yale. One, she'd be like, apparently all my prayers have been answered and Jesus is real because this nigga got into Yale. That's an impossibility. Magic is real. And his father, being the nigga that he is like, oh, they give you a scholarship? So a handout? I was like, yo, if I was him, I'd be
what
like,
is that?
come across the table, yo. Like, what
He called it a handout, and I'm just thinking like I know his mama wants to just hit him in the head.
No,
throat chop this nigga so he can stop talking.
Yeah, she
Like,
should have
upside the
backhanded
head,
him like in that Tyler Perry movie when he backhanded that woman across the fucking counter. Yo, like, get out of here. It's not a handout, yo. You're getting a scholarship. Shut up.
Like what kind of mentality is that? Like I got a scholarship to Yale. You got a handout? You ain't gonna work for it? You gonna help me, nigga? Like what you fucking talking
You
about?
got
Like
Yale
I don't understand what are you saying?
Yeah,
you got Yale money?
You got Yale money?
You don't even have McDonald's money. Shut up, nigga. Like, get the fuck out of my face.
We couldn't go to Coney Island a couple years ago. Shut up.
Yeah, your car broke down 5 miles down the road. Shut the fuck up, nigga.
I'm going
right.
to school.
I would have had Yale money, but I used it on lawyers to get you out.
There you go. How about
5
that?
plus 3.
So yeah, he could go to Penn, Johns Hopkins, or Yale. It's like, yo, you got the pick of the fucking litter, yo. Like, get out of here. Yeah, and look, I got to admit, there would be no question because he's like, well, I could go to like this local college right around here. His mom was like, nigga, if you don't get your ass in this car and drive to fucking Yale and shut the fuck up, no, you ain't staying here. You ain't staying here. Get the fuck out of here. No, beat it.
Because she could have said, I'm working 3 jobs to keep you in private school. I need help. What am I gonna do once you leave the house? Who's gonna help support me? Right. And she was like, no, go.
Yeah, get the fuck out. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Absolutely. Like, but that's what a parent is supposed to be. Like, look, it's going to be harder for me. I got to struggle a little bit more. I'm sorry, where are you going? Oh, you're going to an Ivy League school as a science major? If I play my cards right, nigga, we all going to be living good. This is fuck.
It's supposed to be easier for your children.
Always.
It is supposed to be easier for your children. But unfortunately, there are a lot of parents out there who see their children as the parents, honestly, that they wish they had as providers for them, for the parents, not as a way to make sure that these human beings go out to the world with a little bit more resources than you had and make the world a little bit better or safer than the one you grew up in. There are a lot of parents who don't feel that way about their kids. Yeah,
look, I sent this clip to Micah the other day, and it was like, it was this person, this guy, it was like on a podcast or something. So, it was like really stupid. And so they were basically like, listen, it was a man and a woman, and the woman was like, look, if you have kids, you want your kids to struggle, and the guy's like, yeah, I had to struggle. It's like, but why would you make them struggle?
Why?
Like, well, they got to learn a lesson. I'm like, you can teach kids lessons about life without making their lives harder. That doesn't make any sense.
For all of the millennials who are listening to this, there is a subreddit called Millennials, and there are threads or Reddit threads about parents, boomer or Gen Xer parents, who are sitting on a lot of money, who have built up a lot of money, and do not help their adult children.
I don't understand
with anything.
I don't understand.
And even with like, even seeing their kids like working really hard, because it is a harder a tougher economy than the ones they grew up in. Oh. And their parents are just sitting there like, oh yeah, I have money. Yeah, I have millions of, like one person, their parent has millions in the bank, and they didn't even know until they casually mentioned it. And they're like, you see me and my wife and a newborn kid trying to struggle to afford a home.
No, never.
And you're just sitting on it, and their response has been, but that's my money.
Yeah, that's
and that's how they were raised, right? Like that's how how every generation was raised until us, honestly. Like my parents
what do you mean? Raised how?
Fucking way. Like they were raised to like not necessarily struggle, but like you have to go out and do that shit on your own. We'll only give you the slightest bit of help if we can.
Oh, because they couldn't afford
type shit.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is like now that they do have it, but like that they were raised that way, and even white kids, like that's just how shit worked. Like the father raised the family, and even if they did have money, like no, you got to work for that shit. And like, of course, you have to work for what you got, but like if you can help me, nigga. Help me. But they didn't. But now, like as like millennials, I know Jay doesn't consider himself a millennial. Now I am a millennial technically.
Yuck.
Yes,
very,
you are.
very. I am what you would call like
you're an elder millennial.
I'm an elder millennial by like I'm literally 3 months.
Yeah, you're like by months. Yeah.
You can come over to Gen X. 1981. I'm a cusp. I'm a cusp Pisces. My birthday's on the 19th. I could either be a fucking Pisces or whatever the fuck the next sign is. I'm literally a cusp Gen Xer /
Yeah, you're a cusp. You're a cusp Gen Xer, just like Kamala Harris is a cusp Gen Xer. Like she's on the very far end.
She's right there on a Gen X. She's easily like she's technically a boomer, but like
she's not really.
She's technically a boomer. She was born in '64. So was that old looking ass nigga, Mike Waltz.
Or Tim.
He was born in the same year, right? Tim Waltz, her, they're the same age, which is weird. But like, yeah, that's just how people were raised. But I couldn't understand. Like, if I had millions of bucks on a child, the fuck, that's crazy.
I mean,
that's
like I would never let my.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, like I'm not saying that you just let them.
Like, of course, you still need to work hard. Like, you got to work for what you get. But like at the same time,
like if you're struggling,
if I can help you, of course I'm gonna help you.
Like if I had millions of dollars and my daughter and her partner have a kid and they're like struggling and they're like, oh, we're trying to make it, you can't afford a house, stuff like that. Don't worry about it. My wife and I buy you a house. Now you can say, oh, what does that teach you? What does that teach them? It teaches them to have generational wealth through real estate. That's what it teaches them. Here's a house. You know what level of stress goes off of your fucking plate if you have a house and it's paid for? Now go work.
Yes.
Now I know people will say, well, you're gonna make a weak person. Do you think, and I hear a lot of black people say this, do you think white people start their kids on fucking at level 0 every generation? You believe that? That's what you believe? You believe white people make it to level 25 and then they go, all right, junior, all the way back down. Fuck no. They start their kids at level 25 and go, now you need to go up for them. That's what you do. You help your kids. Right. It doesn't mean you make their life. I'm not talking about being like, don't ever work. Just sit on your ass and I'll just give you money. I'm not talking about that. But if I can help them get a fucking foothill into life and to push them up so that they can succeed, hell yes, I will. Of course. Yeah. Y'all can keep all that mentality. And when you're working for my daughter, when she's your fucking boss, then you can complain about it. on your show.
The interesting thing about that particular thing, like, I hate this nigga. I hope like bad things happen to him. Even Trump didn't do that to his children, right?
Right, exactly. He's like, no.
Even Donald Trump, the piece of shit ass motherfucker that he is, the most selfish person on the planet, even he took care of his children. He might not like them niggas, but he took care of them.
Yeah, he put them all in businesses that he owns so they can all be.
I mean, they still worked, but like, he still helped to get to where the fuck they got.
Right, but they're starting at level 25. He got his dad worked his ass off and got to level 50.
To level 50.
Right. And Trump fucked it up, got himself down to level 25, but then he started his kids off at level 25.
Yeah.
But again, as much of a piece of shit as he is, that's what you're supposed to do. If you think that white people don't do that as a generality, of course they do. That's why it's called generational wealth. It's not called I got all of this and fuck everyone else. Like, to Terrence's point, though, I think that's a sort of a middle class and poor mentality of you got to get out there and do it. Rich people don't operate like that. That's why rich people have rich kids, right? Like, I'm not if you Bill Gates was like, I'm not going to just give my fortune to my kids. All right, well, you don't really have to, bro. You're Bill Gates. That opens up doors for them that they could never have. You're just Bill Gates' kid, but you think he's going to be like, no, now you need to go to a shitty public school? Fuck no. Like, the access to education and just access to people, all of that shit is stuff that they get access to. To shut the door on them and then just go, best of luck, is like, people who think like that, I'm gonna be a bit harsh, and like has a lot of wealth, you shouldn't be a parent. Because you don't get what it is to take care of your kids. You don't.
No, I was about to say the same thing. Just don't be a parent.
Just don't be a parent, yo.
Don't.
Oh, these niggas got to struggle like me. Bitch, you got $10 million in the bank. Help me. Like, help me. What the fuck?
They probably don't have they probably aren't their parents. They probably aren't parents because they got fucking maids and shit. Anyway. Like, they're going to pay for the maid because they don't want to do anything either.
Yeah.
But I think it comes from, it's this deep like insecurity of like, I struggled, and because I am angry that I struggled, I would be jealous of you if you had it easier than I did.
Yeah, it's the same reason why people don't want to forgive student loans.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I paid for my student loan. Like, yo,
they were $9.
Obama didn't pay off his student loans until he was damn near fucking 50. Right? He was
already president
40s.
by then?
Yeah, he was like, yo, I finally paid my student loans off in my second term as president. The fuck? Like, that's insane.
Right, and he was
the president of the United States. Yeah. And a senator prior. Like, come on, man. So for y'all to be like, I paid mine. Your loans was $17 and a hot dog, yo.
Shut up, yo. It's not
the fuck out of here. It's like, it costs way more money. Like, you could send a child to college on one salary when you win. Shut up.
Why don't you just buy a house? Bitch, you see how much houses are anywhere in the States?
Well, you shouldn't live there. Go live in Nebraska. I don't want to
move somewhere else. No.
I don't want to live where I have more houses, neighbors than real people.
That's bigotry. That's bigotry.
I want to live where people actually want to be.
Look, listen, millennial. You're going to have to live next to some cows until the time comes, all right? Just get over this.
I know what I'm saying. I'm saying vaya con Dios and move to Mexico.
As I've said on this podcast many, many, many times, I am American poor, I am Mexican rich. Okay, like shit's fine. No, look. The peso, okay, 1 peso is equivalent to a nickel in the United States. I'm not making that up. That is literally the exchange rate right now.
God damn.
Okay.
I'm fine. I'm just saying.
Like, if it wasn't so hot, yo.
There's less hot places in Mexico. I mean, you're gonna get shot.
No, you don't. What you don't understand is, like, if it's above 70 degrees, it's too hot for me.
All right, well, there ain't nothing we can do for you.
That's
oh wow, yeah. I don't.
Right, it's too.
It's
too hot.
You may need to actually move to like Nebraska or wherever the fuck.
Maybe.
Yeah. Actually, you should.
Like, this weather that we're having now is pretty perfect.
Nigga, like, it was 40 degrees where you were today.
Yeah, it's fine.
See, nah, yo.
Yeah,
ironically, the person on the podcast who has the most problems with white people that's exactly where he needs to live, around a bunch of white people.
But I'm gonna tell you, like, I overheat, And again, I actually told my mother this the other day. I think it's that like 20 to 15%. My mother's 20% European, right? She did that 23andMe, 20% European. She did that years ago. So
You
like,
didn't even want to say white. You said you were like 20% European.
No, she's 20%. No, she's 20%
also,
European. So I can assume that I'm probably 10%, and I think the 10% makes me like not like the fuck the.
Wait a minute.
hate.
Wait a minute. Wait a
I
minute.
hate it. Yes.
But
That's a god. 90% of your black ancestors like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like,
look, I hate heat, man. I can't stand the heat.
I think all of us here have been impacted by slavery at some point. When all of us be like 10 to 20%.
Nah, not Terrence. Nah, it ain't slavery. This is a family choice. Get the fuck out of here.
Like legitimately, I think my great grandfather was a white man.
Ain't that
like for real?
Like,
I think so. I don't know. My family tree is a bonsai tree, so I have no idea. I can't tell. I can't go back too far. It's very small.
I don't think any of us here should go back that far. That's what I'm saying.
No, like a lot of niggas could go back fucking they can trace back to fucking slavery. I can't. I literally can't. My grandmother was born in 1911. My great grandmother was born in 1911. That's like it literally as far as we can go back. I can't find anybody prior to her.
To Ancestry or 23andMe?
My mother did that. That's how she found out.
23andMe is over, son. Like that shit's done.
Oh yeah.
That's she did it years ago. She did it years ago. That's how she found out she was like 22% European.
Well, now your DNA belongs to.
Not mine. I ain't do that shit. So yeah, like I'm pretty sure I had a great grandfather, and that's why I hate the fucking heat. Because my ancestors was out in the field. My ancestors was field niggas working at Amazon. Fucking
that nigga was on CNN. That's the wildest shit I've ever seen.
He said
who are you voting
national
for?
television.
Well, look, I guess somebody down the line was from south of the border because it's fine for me. I don't mind. The worst thing about look, it's wintertime down here, and it was high of 86 today.
Nigga, that would kill me. I'd want to put a bullet in my head. You know? That's too hot, It's too hot.
It is. It's finally cold here. It's like
it was like cold
70,
today.
It was like 70 degrees. It's pretty cold.
See, that's not bad. That's
perfect. Like 70 degrees, like 65 to 70 is perfect for me.
I'm so glad. I think a few weeks ago when I wasn't on the show, it was a heat wave because it was 108 degrees, and it was like 80 degrees in my apartment.
80 degrees in your apartment, girl. You turn the AC on. What are you doing?
I did.
You kept that shit on.
Call the fucking super. It ain't working.
All Bookman, like you need help. That's crazy.
Anyway, that was a wild tangent.
That's a wild tangent. At this point, we find out his dad is getting sent back to prison. The people came and they were like, "Look, we are appealing again," and so he's got to go back. He sits and has a conversation with his father, where he talks about like he says the line like, "As long as you're standing next to your people, you can't be facing the wrong direction." And I like the moment because he's like, he looks over at Rob and he was smiling. He was like, "Yeah, good patting that shit." Like that's a good line. I'm like, it's a dope line. So he goes off to Yale, and like I don't know how accurate this depiction of him going off to Yale is, but like he's playing water polo. He's working in the kitchen at Yale. Everything is going well. He's like pretty well accepted. He never runs into really anything except for like one moment where someone's like, "Oh, hey, are you supposed to be here?" And then that immediately gets corrected. And then there's never any sort of like
a teacher corrects it. I was like,
oh no. Like when the one dude is at the gate when he's trying to come in a black suit.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he was like, "Nah, he's cool. Like, don't worry about it." And that's the end of it. Like, did that feel accurate? Do you think that, I mean, by all accounts, black people at Ivy League schools deal with a whole lot of shit. So did that ring out as like odd to you? Because I think his friend wrote the book. So I'm curious. I'm curious as to what your thoughts were on that. Does that feel like an accurate description or of what it would be like?
To me? No,
Yeah.
because I don't trust white people. So,
Fair.
no, I don't think this was
Wait,
accurate. I think this is like
wait,
an oversimplification of what, because he had like two situations the entire time he was at Yale.
Yeah,
That
I
one
mean,
at
this
the
is
gate, and then when the one guy was like, "Are you supposed to be in this lab?" I'm like,
yeah. I mean,
Yes.
he's the guy who wrote it is white, right? Like, I assume this is the
oh, well,
is
there
the
you
guy
go.
Oh,
he
I
went to
didn't know
school.
that. I did
Yeah,
not know that the
Yeah, there you
person was
go.
white.
That's I don't trust white people. That white dude wrote it, and like he fucking sugarcoated probably more racism that he dealt with while he was in fucking Yale. That's what I'm
Yeah,
going with.
yeah. That feels
It's
that
like,
feels
sorry.
correct to me. Like, I'm sure he was trying to write something kind to about his friend, right? But like
Right.
the idea that he felt that he needed to sell drugs, like, and then like sort of play against those stereotypes and stuff like that, and be this one of the few black students there, and
Yep.
having a relationship with this Brazilian woman and everything else. Like, I have to imagine they dealt with some shit. Like, he's literally hanging out with a bunch of minority kids in this part of Yale, and no one ever deals with that. And his
Right.
his conversation is like, as long as everybody's getting along, everything is fine. I was like,
Mm,
Like,
that-
nigga, this
is
nigga's
that
from
a-
Jersey? Get the fuck out of here! I
right,
don't
this
believe
nigga's from Newark, like, okay, like that was his experience at Yale. But it seems like an unconventional bit of storytelling to me. So okay, yeah,
Or maybe since he was like he had a super analytical mind, that's how he actually thought. I don't know. Possible, but
it's
I
possible.
don't think so.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing a little bit of his.
this could have been a part where they probably could have, like, I don't say embellish, but probably could have been like, yeah, we know what you wrote, but this is probably what actually happened.
Yeah, if I was Chiwetel Ejiofor, I'd be like, nah, nigga,
some white dudes beat him with some bats or something.
like, come on, yeah, this is like, this feels a little too clean. Like, it just felt
Right.
a little too clean in the idea of this very black kid, right? Like, this, he's not light skinned. He don't look like Rick Fox or some shit, right? Like, he looks like a black dude with very black features, and he's dark skinned. I cannot imagine him coming into one of the whitest institutions in education. They'd be like,
Right.
"Good afternoon, Negro. Come hang out with us." Like, I can't imagine that's what happened.
I mean, because isn't there a scene like right after this where he's in like a group with like a bunch of like a couple other black kids? That's where he meets what's her name, the singer actress girl, racist girl, and
Yes.
they're talking about like
Camila
racism.
Cabello?
Yeah, she's racist, or allegedly.
I don't even know.
What, the Latin chick?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh wait, no. You know what? I am getting her mixed up with someone else.
okay. I'm like,
That's
yo, don't throw that shit on her. Like, that's fucked up. You know that racist bitch.
Now
That was
who's the racist?
He's
Wait,
like,
no.
what did I do?
No.
Wait, who are
no,
you
no,
getting
no.
mixed up with?
No.
She's Camila Cabello.
No,
is,
I was right.
I don't know who this
she
woman
was,
is.
She
All right.
she got it with Normani because they went in a group and like I remember she like apologized for like saying some racist on Twitter like a long time ago.
Wait, she got into an argument with who?
Normani. They used to be in like the same group.
All right, I don't know what the fuck.
Normani?
Oh, is that how you say her name?
Normani?
Oh.
The singer?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
Normani.
Normani.
I thought you said
Oh.
Normandy. I was like, the fuck?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, my bad.
She was quote deeply ashamed of her racist language. I use language I'm deeply ashamed of and will regret it.
What'd she call her? She call her a monkey or something? I'm just asking. I don't know. They like to do that.
I got her mixed up with
They like to do
Sabrina
that
Claudio.
I mean,
The Cuban.
she was so racist you had to go see a therapist. God damn. Okay. All right. Well,
What
there
the hell did she say? God damn.
Yeah, I don't know. Monkey probably feels about right. It feels about right. Oh, she put this shit in old Tumblr post. Oh, nigga, they got this shit forever. Oh, what did she write? Oh, here we go. Hold on. Let's go to the racism. When I was younger, I used to. Oh, this is her apologizing. No, I want to hear what she said. I don't want to hear the apology. What'd you say? Give me the bigotry. So I'll try to find it. I want to know. I agree with Terrence. There's a 9 out of 10 chance she used the word monkey at some point. I guarantee it.
So
All right, cool. I want to find out. So back at home for Thanksgiving, Rob is telling like his family what he wants to do. He wants to work in research and work in cancer research. And he's like, I'm going to graduate, get my PhD, open my own lab one day. And look, I feel good. I'm like vicariously, living through, this situation. I'm like, I'm enjoying it. I'm like, yeah, son, you're going to do it. We're going to open our own lab. And I'm like, I've never heard of this dude opening a lab. I wonder what happened. I don't recall hearing about him in my Black history class. And so then you see Rob go visit his father. And his father's like, look, you got to get me out of here, and he starts, like getting pissed at him. He knows that he's screening his calls at college because he doesn't want the other students to find out his dad is in jail. And nothing says, I love you and I'm not being selfish as you're the only one I fucking got. You're screaming at your child through glass at a jail. Did you forget that? Like, I'm at jail. What the fuck? Can I do more? I'm in college.
It's interesting, right? Because, like, what did his dad say again? You never stand in the wrong direction if you're standing with your people. But we saw how social his father was. His father had a lot of, like, quote unquote friends who he was around before he got arrested and after he got out. Where were they? Why are you relying on not just the child but your child to be the quote unquote only person?
Yeah.
Where were your other people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is the irony is none of them stood by him because they all believed he did it. I mean, if we're being honest, I mean that's the sort of supposition I got, or that I have. Then we see Rob talking to his professor, who is incredibly impressed by his intelligence, and she's like, "Look, what are you?" He's like, "I'd like to be doing more," and she's like, "What are you bad at? Like, let's just work on the things you want to do." And he's like, well, I haven't had a chance to actually do a lot of bench science, like using the hoods and everything else. And so she's like, all right, cool. Like, we'll book you time. Like, you can help the grad students or what have you. Then we see them, you see him he's on the Yale water polo team. They win. Everybody is having a good time. They're smoking or whatever, but they're drinking, but they want some more weed. And they racistly ask him if he knows where they can get more weed because black. It's not acceptable. So he takes them over.
You ever been asked if you know where the weed at?
No.
Either one of you?
Me, look at my face.
Never
no one's ever asked me. Not based on my personality. I do.
I just walking down the street. You never like, yo, where the weed at? Never?
No. I smelled weed the other day and I was like, it's familiar. Like, oh, shit. Because it's not legal.
I used to get that shit all the time.
Oh.
Black, white, where the weed at? I'm like, I don't know.
That's fine.
Like, I don't fucking
Nigga, the dispensary? Why are you asking me? I'm a law-abiding citizen.
I said years ago.
Like, said it.
Before they legalized in many states.
Well,
that shit is fucking fucked up,
Yeah.
Stereotypes suck, I don't smoke, though. I hate that shit. I hate the way it smells. It's disgusting.
Agree to disagree. Tiara, anyway. Where the weed at? I know you know.
They got dispensaries out there,
there
don't
are
they?
dispensaries everywhere.
On every street, on every corner. They're like fucking gun stores.
No one asked.
Liquor stores now.
No one asked this question here. Like,
no one's ever asked in California.
Like just go to
the
dispensary.
Down the street, it's right there.
Nigga, there's a neon sign.
I feel like if you're asking someone where the weed at here in 2024, I feel like you're probably asking for something else. That would not be a dispensary. Maybe like Coke or something.
I don't even know what you mean.
I don't do drugs.
Yeah, some Coke.
Coke? No thanks. Yuck.
What the fuck?
I'm not into ruining my life. Thank you very much. Yeah, I wish weed was legal here. I miss edibles. Anyway.
It's not.
No, I mean, I'm sure you could get it, but like, I'm not really trying to have a conversation with someone.
Yeah, I don't.
That's cartel activity is not really a thing.
Oh, she called her a nigger with the hard R. Okay, well there you go.
All right, well that's monkey
back in
squared.
like 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't call somebody like that. That is
hard R.
Yeah, that's egregious racism. Like, and look, you should have got your face smacked.
Thug rat. Okay, well this is on Twitter.
Yeah, thugs always that's a nice undercover one for white people and non-black people. Oh, you're being a thug. Okay, I get it. Rob takes his white water polo friends over to the black or the minority group of folks, and when they walk in, the one black dude is like, "The fuck?" Like, he gives like the dirtiest look. And he's like, "All right, cool. Let's all work together because I like to bring people together as white people and non-white people can all hang out and everyone's cool because I'm the great peacemaker. Did I mention my name's Rob Peace? Thank you for reading the book that my friend." Because this feels like a part of the book where this white guy was like, and then everyone stood together, held hands.
Yeah, I was like, this seems like a bunch of bullshit to me, but okay. Again, I didn't know it was a book or anything like that, but I'm like, okay, sure. But again, this is like, I'm thinking this nigga's perfect, right? Again, to this whole movie, I'm like, oh, so this nigga just like Mr. fucking Superman. All right, cool.
Yeah, this feels a little bit. This is giving me hurricane vibes. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, you just making shit up at this point. Like, stop it.
Like, all right, come on, guys. There was no conflict in this situation. Hey, everybody, would you guys all like to smoke marijuana together? Yeah, let's get high and hang out and be friends. All right, cool, great, thumbs up. Like,
no,
and then, like,
knowing
the more
that,
you know, fucking rainbow. Come on, like, knock it.
Knowing that his friend was white and wrote this kind of now it's.
I mean, I think his friend, the one who does the loan for him, everything. I think that's the guy.
Oh,
okay.
I think so. I think this guy who wrote it.
Well, it's very noble of him, but I still think
because he said he wanted to be a writer. Remember, like early on.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was the first person he met. Yeah.
So I think that's him. So he ends up eventually starting to date the girl who uses the hard R. Good for her, I guess. Well, she doesn't seem to want to kiss him, so maybe she is.
That tracks.
Yeah. Wow. With the hard R. Amazing. So he's in the lab. One of the grad students comes over, the fucking nerd. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He's like, "Is that a Fat Farm sweatshirt? I don't think you belong in this lab, sir." And basically he was like, "Yo, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't believe anything you have to say." And he starts questioning him about stuff, and it was just ridiculous.
Like Neil Brennan.
Oh, don't do that to Neil Brennan. He kind of does look like him, though. And so the professor they talked to earlier was like, "Look, I don't accept any of this shit." So like, I talked to that guy, and he's like, "Look, I don't need you to fight my battles for me, right?" Look, this professor, she was very nice to him. She gave him a whole lot of chances that he probably didn't fucking deserve, to be honest, at a certain point. Then we come to find out that his dad gets another post-conviction hearing. The judge is like, "I don't know why the fuck you were let out in the first place. Nigga, go back. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, nah, none of this shit is happening." So Rob goes and tries to talk to a lawyer. The lawyer's like, "Look, this is going to get mad expensive. So you need to figure out what you want to do." You have this moment that they do a couple times in the film where he's talking to his mother and is shot in this like red light. And I assume the reason for that is like these hard moments of truth with it, conversations with his mom, because it only happens at this point and at a later point where basically he's like, "You know that he was innocent? Why didn't you just say something?" And she's like, it's a little bit more complicated than that. So I think it's just sort of emblematic of like their conflict as mother and son. So from there, it's like junior year, and you come to find out that his father's got a brain tumor, and he's dying, He's told he's only got 6 months. So Rob is like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna fucking start making super weed in my my buddy's basement to pay for drugs to help my dad, since he knows a lot about cancer research. And this is where I was like, oh, we're making bad decisions now. I'm not saying helping your dad is a bad decision, but starting to like make your own weed on some Breaking Bad type of shit, probably not a good idea.
Yeah, that's not in 2001. Nah, you going to jail if you get caught.
Yeah,
You know?
big boy jail.
So, good luck.
Yeah. So, he starts making like money hand over fist. He's doing really well in school. Everybody's super excited for him. He starts getting medicine for his dad. And his girlfriend basically breaks up with him. She's like, you look like you're enjoying this. Like, you're excited about selling drugs. And he's like, I got to do this. And she's like, no, but you don't have to do this. Like,
but you don't have to, but you're making a lot of money. I can imagine you're a fucking scientist. You're creating your own strains of weed or whatever you're doing, and you're making a lot of money. Got to be very enticing regardless of how fucking genius you are.
Yeah. Money is addictive.
It just don't matter who the fuck. Like, yeah. So.
Then he mistakenly knocks over something at the lab. The professor's there, and she's like, look, I've noticed like the bioreactor is missing and all these other pieces of equipment are missing. And he's like, oh, I bring it all back and everything else. And she's like, look, I don't want to know what you're doing. I mean, she's a scientist. She's a biologist. I think she could probably figure out that it has to do with drugs. She's not an idiot.
Right.
And so she's like, look, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with this. Basically, I'm rescinding. She was going to give a letter of recommendation. She rescinds it, right? He keeps, he's selling more weed, and then he almost gets caught. I was like mad nervous in the scene. I was like, oh, this nigga going to jail. Like the school security comes and they try to figure out like what he's up to, because they obviously heard he's selling weed. Because if you're selling a lot of weed and you're making a lot of money on campus and you're black, what do you think's going to happen? You think white people are going to be cool with that? I don't think so. Nah, somebody going to dime your ass out, of course. That's why the drug trade is a bad idea, because there's always a nigga who's jealous of you who wants to usurp you. Like, it's just nobody's going to play it safe. So he luckily dumped out all his money and weed out the window, and so he's fine. They didn't find anything, so he was allowed to graduate with honors. But they again his professor rescinded her recommendation, which is pretty damaging to him, honestly. This is the first moment of like, you're undercutting your entire future. Like, the second he lost that recommendation, he can't apply to grad schools, because they're going to be like, well, why don't you have a recommendation from your professor that you did so well? Well, because weed? Sorry. So he has to put his life on hold, right? He goes and he's there with his father, and then his father's dying. And he did live like a year, like a full year, like maybe 6 or 7 months longer than he was supposed to. Thanks to Rob's help, by the way. And at a certain point, he says, hey, Dad, did you really kill those women or not? And his dad gets like really mad at him and is furious. And he's like, I need to know. And his dad won't answer. Like, he's like, you didn't believe me this whole time and all this other shit. And he did believe him, but he's got doubt in his head, right? Like, his mom kind of put a little bit of doubt in his head, saying like, yeah, your dad was violent with me and all this other shit. Which in hindsight, at the end of the movie, I'm like, it's a bit fucked up. Like, that you kind of put that in his head when you knew all this other shit came behind it. But I don't have a problem with you like being honest about like, yeah, your dad was violent. Like he was. Like, that's not a hidden secret. So he's not going to grad school at this point. Him and his two buddies that he grew up with, they are now buying real estate. They're doing it all legit. They each put in $20,000. His one buddy was like, yeah, I got $20,000. And his girlfriend was like, no, we don't. And they're gonna, the fuck we do. And it was like all the savings they had for him and his wife and his kid. So they got into real estate, and they're doing everything is legit. Like they're not selling drugs anymore. He's back teaching at the high school he went to. He's got his buddy from college, I guess, who wrote the book, who also works at a bank. So he's like getting loans from him and everything else. Everything is on the up and up. Life is good. And I was like, can we just end it here? And then he saves the neighborhood. Everyone claps. We can all go home. But unfortunately, that is not what happened. He was apparently not genius enough to see the subprime collapse come. And just as everything was good, the subprime collapsed, and now they owed like $200,000 to the banks. And so now they're like freaking out. There's all these foreclosures in their neighborhood, and I appreciated them showing sort of the on the ground perspective of what people went through during the collapse, because normally it's all about like, what did the bankers have to deal with? Like, nah, these people lost their houses, right?
I don't give a fuck about what the bankers had to deal with. Fuck that.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
They did the shit.
Absolutely shouldn't. They were fine. So there's all these foreclosures and stores closing and everything in this neighborhood, right? He goes and he talks to the people who, his dad's friends who own the house that was in his family, and they're basically like, look, here's a picture of your father, like with the gun. Like that's not the gun that they said he had when he killed whoever killed those two girls. So we always thought he was innocent, and but the cops were threatening us, so we couldn't testify and all this other shit. So we had to back off. And then he finds that information out, and he goes to his mom, and his mom's like, "Yeah, I knew." And he gets fucking super furious at her because that because the scene is shot in red again. Which is, I guess is there to make it obvious for people not paying attention. And he's obviously very hurt by it because he realizes that could have been, evidence to help his dad. And he's pissed at his mom, and his mom is like, look, I had to either believe him or I had to believe in you. And I chose you. Again, she's using a level of selfishness to be selfless, right? Like, yeah, like I loved him at one point, but like I ain't letting this nigga blow up our family, like, and blow up your future.
Right.
So,
which
But did he actually make a choice?
Who?
Rob Peace. Like, I mean, like he said, like, I had to believe him or believe in you, and I chose to believe in you. But
no. His mom says that about.
His mom says, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and that's what pissed him off, right? Because like this idea of like, how could you not have fought for him as much as I fought if you knew or you thought he was innocent? But at the same time, it's like her priority is to you as her son.
Right.
It ain't to that dude. They're not together anymore.
It's right? and this is where it's like also tragic for his dad, right? Because look, his father's a grown man and has clearly been into some shady stuff before. And maybe from his mom's point of view, it was like it was only a matter of time before something happened.
Yeah.
And so, why would she put any energy into saving a man who she's not with, and not with for a reason?
Right.
And if she probably could have had it her way, she probably would have raised Shaun away from him.
Oh, I think.
That's
she says often about like, why do you want to stay in this town? Like she didn't want to be there, right? Like so.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Then we see a situation where he's like, Rob is talking to his buddy Oswaldo, his roommate or his old roommate, and he's like, listen, we're gonna get back into selling weed and like go big, and then we're gonna make $400,000, and then we're gonna be out. Like that's just gonna be the end of it. And Oswaldo says something that could not be more menacing in a movie. If you've ever seen a movie before, he was like, I'm gonna lend you the money, but this shit is too wild for me. I'm out. And I was like, oh, everybody getting getting a bullet. Because dude was like, I'm out of here, yo. It's like, best of luck. And this is where my part in the book, I step out of the scene.
Yeah, this is where I exit stage left.
Yeah, he said they were going to raid.
Wild if he actually didn't, right? You know, because he wrote the book.
Let's kingpin this shit, son. Yeah, he was like, yeah. Then I left. Like, nah, but I ain't.
Then I left because these niggas was wilding.
Narrator voice. He did not leave. He was making money too. He just happened to live in a nice part of town. So yeah, he was like, we're gonna make $400,000 in 6 weeks, and then I'm gonna go to grad school, and that's gonna be the end of it. Okay, buddy. All right. And so he's like, look, his buddy is like, look, how are we going to sell under the noses of all the gangs in New Jersey? This is a great question. You can't just start selling weed in a major way and not run into people that's their fucking daytime job. Okay. Like they're going to have a fucking problem with it.
Right.
And so he's like, look, we just hire some mules, just people to just like, get the weed out or whatever. And they serve it real quick. And he's like, we're going to just tell them that we work for the Killer Bloods or some other gang. Nigga, this is a recipe for disaster. What are you talking about?
Not intrude on other people's corners.
Yes.
And territories.
You know that.
You know all about that.
You be selling them. You be on them corners.
I don't.
You run them corners.
I don't.
Corners.
I just watched The Wire.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
it.
Uh-huh. Look at all that money behind Tiara. Look how rich she is. You got a roommate? You got a roommate besides your dog?
Why does...
Yeah. You know why she don't have a roommate? Because she's rich.
You live in California with no roommate.
She rich, yo.
Is that an indicator of wealth?
Yes. In California, is 100.
In this economy? Yes.
Yeah. You were in if you were broadcasting live from Nebraska, I'd be like, all right, cool. Like, no big deal.
Well, look, I don't have a roommate, but I also don't have in-unit laundry either. So.
Oh, damn, you poor.
You know.
No.
I know. I'm poor. But who knows? Whenever that changes, maybe.
Mm-hmm. If y'all hear dry, if you in a future episode, if you hear dry going on in the background, you know she made it, y'all. She made it.
I'm gonna be doing laundry on this
clanging
episode.
Against the side of the fucking.
Like, this shit is awesome. Like, why are you just holding up?
Hold on, I gotta put my clothes in the dryer. Hold on 1 second.
Like, just
interrupting the show. I got a whole new whirlpool. Okay.
Like, yo, why are you holding bottles of Woolite? Like, nah, just because I look cool. Like, don't it look awesome?
Put a pin in that, because I think I'm gonna do that on a future episode.
Yeah, see, there you go. Stun on these niggas. Like, here's a bottle of Tide, y'all. Like, I can do what I want. So they're like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna pretend to be a part of another gang. Not a good idea. You're not using that genius intellect, buddy. I'm not a genius. I can't do math in my head, but I'm smart enough to know that's a bad fucking idea. No street smarts. And so he started making this super weed, and he starts again. Once you start making money, niggas got a problem with it, and then it's a recipe for disaster. The one dude who's like, why are we moving these drugs so fast? I'm like, nigga, they're drugs. Like, fuck, we having a conversation for? Take your ass on. And he's like, all right, like, why y'all moving it so fast? Like, all right, you asked a little too many questions. Then some 2 cars pull up on that dude, and I guess they wanted information. I thought they were just going to shoot his ass right there, but they didn't. Rob is very flagrant. He gives his buddy like $25,000 in the middle of the day at a playground. I'm like, bro, just come over. Like, just come over my house. Like, why we holding wads of cash in the middle of the street? He gives his buddy the $25,000. He was like, now you can make some choices. And look, he paid his buddy back, like the money, because that was his buddy who was like freaking out when the subprime shit happened, and he didn't have any money, right? He had lost all $20,000 that he had. This guy's overly manicured eyebrows is really bothersome, but to me, by the way. It's distracting in this scene. So continues making all his super weed or whatever. The dude who was who's asking him like why they rushing to sell all this weed. He comes outside of the house, and his buddy, Rob's buddy, is like, all right, you want to take the gun with you? Again, like, what is Rob going to do? You gonna shoot this nigga in broad daylight? It was this American gangster? Like, get the fuck out of here. No. And Rob's like, nah, he just want to get some more money. Like, you hold on to the gun. Look, I'm not trusting any nigga who comes to a house and then is standing across the street.
No. Yeah, that's a wild red flag.
I'd be like, come to the stoop, nigga. Like, nah, yo. Like, nah, I'm not yelling across the street. Like, there's too much open space to get shot. Like, fuck that. And he's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing here? Whatever. And he's like, you ain't no gangster. The fucking matter with you? And they're like arguing back and forth. And then these dudes roll up in a car and they get out and they have automatic weapons. And then it's just blurry and fucking terrifying. And his buddy starts shooting inside the house. He's shooting at him. These niggas have machine guns or whatever. Like, you have a handgun with like...
Yeah, they got like M14s. I'm like, that's military artillery. What are you doing with that?
Yeah.
Again,
there's too many guns in America.
Where these guns come from?
If we had more guns, then it probably would have solved the issue. Okay. So they pull up in their like Toyota Corolla, and then they go into the house and they just straight murder everybody, or they murder Rob. And his buddy gets out. Of course, he's fine, and the dude across the street is still standing there, and he kind of feels bad. So that was that.
And me not knowing that this really happened, I was like, wait, is he dead? The fuck? Because again, I didn't know what the hell. Yeah, I was like, damn, that's fucked up. Okay. Then they showed his picture up on the wall at the goddamn Catholic school. Like, oh, well,
it's the end of that.
Sad.
Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah.
God,
so
damn.
So then you just see his mom on the beach, sort of thinking about him, obviously, and everything else. And it's in loving memory of Robert Deshaun Peace. So, yeah. And then there's a couple photos of the real Rob Peace. So, yeah.
Very sad.
It was very sad. Again, this dude was brilliant. And he had his life ruined because he was trying. There's nothing wrong with helping your people. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with like gaining what I refer to as like these weapons from like white America and bringing them back to your neighborhood to better your neighborhood. There's nothing wrong with that. That is an admirable thing to do. But you cannot save the entire hood, especially not from the perspective of destroying yourself. You simply cannot. You can't. So it's a tragic story. By the way, he did a lot of time going back and forth to Rio de Janeiro for that woman as well. Like, he spent quite a bit of time with her.
I almost started to say part about this whole story. Go ahead.
I almost started to say with what money, but then I realized, oh yeah,
right.
He was selling a drug kingpin. I think the most fucked up thing about this story is that it's not unique.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, he just happened to be a genius, but like, this is not a story that doesn't like that happen. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is.
So
really
there's a bunch of Rob pieces out there. So
yeah,
especially in the Black community.
100%. I think that's probably why like the reaction to the end of this is just like, well, because we've heard it in different, about different people.
Yeah.
Gifted kids with. And you can't say he didn't have a parent who didn't care. His mom did everything she could.
Yeah, she was there the whole time. She was the one urging him not to destroy himself in the way that he did, trying to save everybody. Yeah. You can't.
Like, she wasn't asking for him to help. She was just like, yo, just do what you got to do. His father at that time, his father had already passed. So like,
he felt an obligation that he couldn't shake. I mean, just to think that this kid was as bright as he was at Yale doing cancer research. I mean, he could have done so much for so many people. not just in his neighborhood, but for so many people, not just for his neighborhood or New Jersey or his family, but for so many people, so many black people very specifically. He could have done amazing things.
Right. And we will never know.
You'll never know. Right.
That is the and his memory only lives on through his mom and his friends who really, really, knew him. But yeah.
Yeah. It's fucked up. That's sad. So look, man, don't be like his dad in the respect of not being willing to untether yourself from your kid to let them go live their lives. That's a strong lesson. But if you're a parent, it's totally fine to teach your kids to give a shit about others and give a shit about where they come from and everything else. I think that's deeply important. But not at the expense of themselves. Ultimately.
That's right.
You can't. And it sounds so fucked up. It's you got to help the community. But I can't help the community if I can never leave. If I can never try to expand myself. I just think about all of these, black politicians and black business people who grew up in the hood, and then they leave the hood, and then they go do these amazing things, and then they bring money back and all this other stuff. And it's that's how you fix it. You gotta or give other young black kids opportunities and shit like that. That's how you fix it. Because one of the most powerful moments in the movie, we didn't talk about it, is that he's teaching at that school. That's right. In the high school. And these kids are excited to learn about physics and everything else, or biology or science or whatever. They're so excited to learn about that. It could have just ended there. If he didn't go to grad school, it could have just ended there, where he was using his fucking beautiful mind level intelligence to get black kids inspired to do great things. It could have ended there. But
and it actually makes me think of another part in the movie. I think this was, I don't care if he was in at the private school, if he was at Yale, and he explains that he really, I think it was when he was at Yale, he explains that he loves science because he's science is easy. Science, he's like we all know what the outcome is going to be, or we can figure out what the outcome is going to be. And the way he said it like you're just you're talking about, I guess, learning basic math. But he was someone who really loved the intricacies of science and was able to simplify them to something that's matter of fact and also fun. He thought it was fun.
Yeah.
You just don't, no, except there are a lot of kids like that. Even right now, who are probably, who have the talent and the intelligence, and they feel obligated to their circumstances right now.
Yeah. Again, it's easy to say, fuck those people, just move forward, or you have a job to do. You gotta do everything to help these people. The answer is way more complex than that. It really is. And I think it does a detriment to young black people to put the world on them, that because they potentially come from these rougher circumstances, that they have to fix everything themselves. You can't. But what you can do is go out in the world, make a massive difference, have people to look up to somebody. You take those weapons that you have, and then you bring them back. But you can't be half in, half out. It doesn't work like that. You just can't. How many rappers make it and then they get killed going in the hood doing some dumb shit? It's get out. Get out, make your money, use your money to better the place. But you can't get out, become a multi-millionaire, and then think you're going to hang out in the corner. You can't. Niggas will shoot you.
Yeah.
And then what you got?
I mean, because unfortunately, there are people who don't want to see you get out and do better.
Yeah, that's correct. Because they feel it's a reflection on them.
Yep.
Right. So, yeah, again, you don't have to turn your back on your people, but you got to figure out how to use what you are able to acquire to then help them. Because just your time, while you're trying to get out, it doesn't work. It just simply can't. All right, that is it. That was episode 270 for Raw Peace. We will be back next week for a preview episode. I assume it'll just be about child support forgiveness. Like, stop stealing these broke niggas' money. They need help. No, but we'll see.
Obama was mean, y'all. He was so mean.
Oh, he had every right to be mean. He had every right. Everything they said in the last couple of days, he should be like, see? What the fuck did I say? Why y'all mad at me? How dare Obama lecture us? I think he earned it.
I think he's earned it too. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you're upset, you should probably think about why you're so upset.
Look within. Look deep within your soul and wonder why the fuck you got so mad. Legitimately, and not just to grift people out of their money on fucking YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, the guys who got legitimately mad, I'm like, he's not speaking to me. Like, I'm fine. I don't have a problem. Like, just quickly about that, it's not a preview episode, but just quickly about that. One of the biggest things about that whole getting mad about Obama lecturing and all this other stuff, if you can't, like, I have to assume, and I will ask you, Tiara, I have to assume when Barack Obama was elected president in 2008, you felt proud about that, right?
I was pissed because I couldn't vote because it was 1 year before I turned 18.
Jeez. All right, guys. Like, how young are you? Are you 12? I don't know. That's insane.
That was what? That was 17 years ago.
Oh. Yeah.
How long ago was that? 2018? 2008, sorry. That was 2024.
Wow.
16 years ago.
Wow, that's crazy. You so young. I was 100 years old back then. But you saw.
I already voted 3 times.
Jesus Christ.
Were you younger than?
I think about it. My first vote was in 2000 when we lost the election.
Yeah, Bush v. Gore.
We literally got stolen. The election was stolen from us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was 19.
Yep. The reason why I asked,
for a while.
Yeah, we've been in this game for a minute. The reason why I ask is because I'm making another assumption. You can confirm this. I assume you saw your blackness in him, right?
Yeah,
of course. Right? And to that point, I would say to these black men who are like, I'm not supporting her or whatever, and
but she ain't black, Jay.
Right. Fuck that. Like,
she's Indian. She's Indian Jamaican. She ain't black.
Right. That's why she went to an HBCU.
That's what it is.
Like, all right. People who say she's not black. Look, if you say that Kamala Harris is not black,
her father was white.
Yeah, you're a fucking moron. Like, just I'm not having an argument. You're a fucking.
I heard her father was white.
Oh, Janet
Jackson's very talented, but she's not very bright.
No, she's not. So cover your titty up, Janet. Like, relax. Like, just take it easy. But like, you of all your family, come on, don't do that. Like, the irony of that is insane. But if black women can see their blackness in Barack Obama being elected president, and you're a black man, if you can't see your blackness in a black woman being elected president, it's not about her. It says more about you. That's all I'll say. And that to me is
the thing is, no, but the pushback would be like, I don't want to vote for her just because she's black.
Nobody said you had to.
A lot of
right.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's one of the reasons. The other reason is, they just tired of Democrats lying. So I'm gonna vote for the other thing, or just don't vote. Again, a lot of these people are just not gonna vote. They're just saying shit, and again, you don't really give a fuck about any of this stuff until it's time to you make your fucking presence known right before the election. So you're really gonna vote to begin with. So it's just a bunch of people just yelling and screaming into the ether. And the other thing that I heard was like, well, he ain't talking to like Hispanic people. I'm like, well, he's black. Why the fuck does he have to talk to Hispanic people? Why does he have to talk to white people? He's black.
Yeah, I thought y'all wanted. I thought y'all wanted
white people. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Things for black people, right? What happened to that? We only want to talk.
He's talking to the people that. I mean, that nigga's rich. He don't have to like. He don't give a. He doesn't have to care anymore.
He's going to be fine.
He really doesn't have to give a.
His daughters will be too.
About any of that. Like, to be honest with you, if I was Barack Obama, I would tell these niggas to suck my dick because y'all treated me like shit when I was in office. Again, I'm a petty nigga, so I'll be like, suck my dick. I don't have to say shit.
That's a wild statement from the former president. Like, Barack Obama's really out there.
Again, I don't like disrespect, but some people can just, they can just deal with it and like, hey, look, I'm gonna come back to the community and try to get these people elected. But I was him, I would be like, fuck off. I got my money.
Where's Barack Obama? He's on an island somewhere.
I did 8 years. Right, I did 8 years. I tried to help you niggas, and then y'all shit on my legacy. Fuck you. Deal with it. Like, you can go ahead and elect fucking Donald Trump. I don't have to be here. Me and my wife and my family, we don't got to be here.
Yeah.
But like, he's a good person. I'm sort of a good person. You know what I'm saying?
God forgives. I don't.
Like, I mean, he cares. Like he cares about.
Yeah, he really gives a fuck. Like,
yeah, because he watched his legacy get fucking destroyed the last time a woman ran, and then people were like, I guess they're both the same, and he was like, I told y'all niggas. Like, yeah. I mean, what was the thing he said? He was like, oh, he's out there saying, oh, look at the economy. He was like, yeah, that was my economy.
That was mine, yeah.
Yeah, it's like he was pissed.
Yeah, that was mine. I did that. It was funny.
He was so pissed.
He still looked genuinely upset. Like, he hates that nigga. Like, I know he just does not like Donald Trump. Like,
oh hell no, he
like,
doesn't.
I don't like that nigga, but I can't say it. Like, I can't really say it, but like, I really just don't like that.
Oh, I think we get
at
it.
all.
Yeah, it's coming in loud and clear.
Yeah, we understand.
Yeah,
no, not me. I'm talking about Obama.
Him.
No,
really
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying it's coming in loud and clear. Like, I don't think anybody paying attention thinks he fucks.
So
no.
Yeah,
but
just,
if you can't see, and I mean that quite honestly, if you can't see your blackness in her, I'm not saying you have to vote for her. I think if you're voting for Donald Trump, I think you're a fucking idiot. Okay, and I mean that.
Yo, well, y'all know how I feel. If you're black and you vote for Trump, you're a coon.
Yeah.
Full stop.
I would rather you not.
No nuance.
I would rather you not vote.
Yeah, just stay your black ass in the house.
All right. I'm not saying you have to vote for Kamala Harris, but if you are voting for Donald Trump, yeah, you are cool. Like, I actually agree with that. Like, the guy on CNN, a black Trump guy on CNN is like, whoa, the field niggas are voting for Trump and the House niggas are voting for Kamala Harris. I'm confused as to why you're saying that. Do you think that's a flex? Because it's a weird one. You're black.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, they're voting for the dude that came up with a fake rally for the UAW, right? Like, while Biden was actually at a United Auto Workers fucking strike, he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this thing," and like pretend these people are fucking auto workers, while they were like anti fucking.
They were like the boss.
They were basically anti union and shit.
Yeah,
right?
They were all the bosses. Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck.
Insane. But yeah, he's the one that gives a fuck about the workers. He told you, like, hey, overtime. Look, he was like, try to do work overtime for me. I ain't pay that shit. Fuck out of here.
Right?
He said that at his mouth.
Yeah, like at
what the fuck are we talking about?
And they were just like, is he gonna get rid of overtime? Yes, nigga, yes. He is.
That includes you too.
Yeah, you dumbass.
Like that.
Listen to the words he's saying out loud. Like. They don't pay him.
He was like, I hated overtime. You know what I did? I didn't pay him. Like, oh, okay, cool. He's literally telling you
at
he's
Coachella
saying the quiet parts out loud, dog.
Yeah.
He can't do rallies inside because he doesn't pay people.
Yeah. Just real quick, because this is a thing I just heard today. In Oregon, they send out a document with like pre-vote pamphlet, like information on all the candidates for all the races, right? And Trump and Vance are not in it, right? And this guy was doing a video about it. He was like, how is this possible? They must have rigged this or whatever. Now, come to find out, the candidates, the campaigns, they submit, it's like a bio. The campaigns all submit it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris and her team, they put Walz and Harrison and all these other campaigns, they all submit their bios, right? They all know this. The Trump team, they just didn't do it. Why? They didn't meet the deadline, and it cost $3,500. And they were like,
"Yo, it's $3,500."
Yeah.
Oh wow, they're broke.
It's a conspiracy. No, these niggas are
broke.
They're broke.
Cheap as shit. That's why he's selling Bibles for $6. Yo, I don't. One last thing. The people that keep talking about, they're talking about illegal immigration and the economy and things costing so much money, right? These are the same people that will literally travel the country going to all of his rallies.
Yes.
Right.
How do you get the money? Nigga, I'm working at fucking, like these people are working at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and this nigga's doing rallies all over the place. And you're traveling the country with him. Where you getting the money from? That ain't cheap.
Yeah, because they're rich.
They have money. Like, think about that, folks. Like, these people have money to just do whatever the fuck they want. And they're just traveling around the country just cheering him on, saying stupid shit.
Or they're going into massive amounts of debt about it. That's the other.
So is the economy terrible, or is it doing pretty well so you can just travel the fucking country with this moron? Which one is
it? Yes.
Is yes.
Is it one mic or is it Uchiwali? Like, which one?
Right, exactly.
I don't know. What is it, dog? I hate you niggas.
Yeah.
Look,
you're right.
Here's my favorite thing, and I'll end it on this. I can't wait for all the people who are like, he's going to win. He's going to win the popular vote. He's going to win. He's going to win. I can't wait to watch all of you freak the fuck out when reality hits your stupid asses. Like everybody paying attention has been telling you when he loses.
I don't know if they will ever face reality. I mean, even that woman who got sentenced to 9 years.
Yo, that chick got 9. I need a magnetic mattress because my back hurts. Okay, well, you can be sleeping on this 1/2 inch burlap sack, bitch. Fuck out of here.
But like, and she's an older lady. She's probably
she was 69.
Her life in jail.
69. She has threw her life away.
Yeah. Good luck.
Look, there's no accounting for stupid. All right, like this is not. Look, best of luck. I don't give a fuck. Die in there. That's your fault. Like I don't care, yo. Like at this point, I don't care. No,
for this man.
Like, yo, he don't even know.
How many people have been locked up for this dude, yo? Yo, imagine being locked up over Donald fucking Trump, yo.
Yo, if Barack Obama
just imagine that.
If Barack Obama had gone on TV and was like, "We're gonna storm the Capitol," I'd be like, "You by yourself." Like,
who the fuck is we, nigga?
Nigga, that guy.
It's like, it's time for me to head on out, hit the dusty trail, because I'm going the fuck home. You bugging, nigga.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Come on down. I'm going to walk down there with you. All right, you in the front. Just like MLK over that bridge. You out front, nigga. Like, no, you ain't going to walk in the back. Get out of here. No, hell no.
It's insane. I don't get it. I don't get it. I've never. But then again, cults don't make any sense to me, you know? No. Fucking Jim Jones got 1,000 people killed.
He didn't even have this many like fans when he was doing The Apprentice, or when he and Rosie O'Donnell used to like go back and forth. Like what?
It's because these people are really excited to vote for a white guy after a black man was president. And
they've already done it.
And but he was the most brutal person they could find.
Yep.
That's it.
To punish the rest of us for daring to want to.
That's quite literally it. That's quite literally it.
Nicole sees the point.
I saw a creator on online, and she made a great point, and I've made this as well. Like, he makes everything simple. For them, the world is becoming more complex. There's now more than 2 genders. Not everyone is straight. Black people can have real jobs. Like they don't understand. Like they, like black people don't have to wait on you hand and foot. They have opinions, and women should be treated equally. And there's niggers and Jews and Asian people on TV. What they can't fathom this idea that the world has become more complex and more diverse. So what do?
Women don't need us anymore.
Right. There's the red pill shit is a lot of it, right? But so what do? They run to a person who speaks in superlatives, who makes the world simple for them. That's it.
Yeah.
They are simple-minded, so they want somebody who is also simple-minded to lead them. I'm saying this to be as mean as possible. If you support him, it's because you're simple-minded and not very smart. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Like quite seriously. Like he's a simpleton. Listen to what he says. Somebody pointed out a thing that he does that I noticed but never really kind of put words to it. He when he doesn't have details of something, he just goes, "Just look what they're doing down at the border. Just look at it. Look what they're doing in California." And what that is just vibes. Do you feel like what's happening in whatever he's talking about? Do you feel it's wrong? well, then the vibes work, right? That's it. He doesn't give any details because he don't give a fuck. It's simplicity. That's all it is.
And for all those folks, I hope they've noticed that taxes have gone up year after year, and their refunds have gotten smaller and smaller since what year? 2017? 2018?
Yeah, we're still under the tax. We're still under the fucking Trump tax cuts.
Yep.
That doesn't end until till next year. So yeah, you see your taxes going up. We're still under his tax code.
Yep. I saw a woman today say, "Oh, these Biden taxes are terrible." I was like, "He's never changed the tax code. What the fuck are you talking about?"
That's your boy.
Yeah, that's why Trump is running to extend the tax cuts, not put new ones in that his got ripped out. No, to extend.
Oh, you know what? And I swear this is maybe this is probably the last thing. Someone put it together for me the other day. I don't know what I was listening to, but they were talking about abortion, and not just about like wanting to go get it, but like where it could be medically necessary. And whose podcast was it? I think it was Lawrence O'Donnell I was listening to. And there are these two women who are talking about the cases in which they needed it. And I think one of them said that they heard of a woman who was diagnosed with cancer and she was pregnant.
Oof. And
she had to choose between going through like chemotherapy or an abortion or going through a pregnancy in which she may not make it and her child may not make it, or she can try to save her life and save her ability to have children go through chemotherapy. And I was just like, I didn't even think about something like that. What if you're diagnosed with something that would make pregnancy inviable, and you're in a state where, where you can't get one? And not even that, but the doctors are going to be afraid to do anything because they don't want to go to jail. And then someone else pointed out that whole clinics and hospitals would close if they can't perform abortion. Just one procedure. So if you're someone that has had a stroke, or if you're someone that has had a heart attack, and you need to go to a clinic, clinics don't even want to be in the position to be faced with basically telling someone you're gonna have to go die in the street because I can't help because I don't want to go to prison. So they just shut the whole thing down. And I was like, wow, this does impact everybody.
This is the America these guys want to live in.
It's bizarre. Like the only reason why we're doing this podcast right now is because all three of our parents decided to keep us. They could have had abortions. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Easily. Like Roe v. Wade was in play.
Right.
We're all under the age of fucking 50. You know what I'm saying? So like, people aren't just having abortions or willing, especially my mother. My mother was incredibly young when she had me.
Right.
So that's why this whole thing about like choice, like pro-life bullshit. Like, yeah, the woman will choose to keep you if she wants to.
Right.
She's not just going out having. My mother was 15 years old. She literally just turned 16 when she had me. She could have had the abortion. People were telling her to do so.
Right.
And she didn't. That's how this works, yo.
Yeah.
Choices.
She made a choice.
Yeah.
Person as her own.
Wild choice. That's choice I don't know if I would have made, but she made the choice to keep me. So, like, this whole thing with like leaving it up to the states and all this bullshit and getting people in trouble because, like, it's really fucked up, man. Like, I don't. And he keeps saying it. Everybody wanted it to go back to the states. No, they didn't. Nobody wanted it to go to the states.
That's why
psychos that like listen to the Bible and all this other bullshit.
That's why you keep losing elections because of this. Literally, the one thing you're talking about. Everyone wanted it, and why are they kicking the shit out of you because of it?
Right. J.D. Vance is 40 years old. His crackhead mother decided to keep him when she had him. Like, she could have had an abortion.
Yeah,
but she kept you, nigga. Like this. Like that's what happens. Like women want to have children, and I just like.
Yeah,
it makes me so mad. It just pisses me off, yo. It just makes me so fucking angry that these women have to deal with this shit. I read two articles. 2 women died in Georgia because of this shit.
Yeah,
one.
I think it's a number of them in Texas as well at this point.
Yeah.
But when you tie it to other health conditions that impact everybody or whole
that's when people
healthcare really systems. Yeah. That's when people should really be like, oh shit, like. Oh, you're especially if you're talking about people in rural areas and not everyone in these areas agrees with this. they're probably going to be looking like, oh, you don't want to perform life-saving care for me because of this issue and you're afraid. So what am I supposed to do? Like some of these life-saving issues require help within minutes. And you're talking about people in areas who aren't getting it fast enough as it is, or don't have the resources as it is.
Fucking, like, I live in Baltimore. Like, there's like 75 hospitals around me. Like, I could point in a direction and get to a hospital. Because niggas be getting shot every day. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I live in a place where, like, there's hospitals all over the place. Some people live in a place where it takes them an hour to get to a movie theater.
They have to be airlifted. An hour and a half
to get to a fucking hospital. I couldn't imagine that.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
If you're having a heart attack, you might die because of the fucking area you live in, just because you can't get to a hospital fast enough. And now you got to worry about like this the healthcare system in this country.
And so all those people in the stroke belt.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My father had a stroke, and he was able to make it to the hospital within 10 minutes. Still didn't help.
I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad for a lot of those people who don't deserve this.
Damn, there's something called the stroke belt? I thought you were just being an asshole. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the stroke belt. That's a real thing.
I didn't know that.
And look where it runs through. And think about
they better pray on it.
But
does it overlap with the Bible Belt?
It does. Yeah.
It
Alabama,
does.
Arkansas, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia.
Mississippi, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama. Who lives there?
Right.
Your God is an awesome God.
Black people. Well, no, black people live there.
But also black people. Absolutely.
Because they're more likely to have strokes or have diabetes or have heart attacks, and also in those areas have the least amount of access to care. And that's just regular care.
Yeah, but they do say African American population is a contributing factor to this being the stroke belt.
I don't like how that's worded. At all. Feels very racist.
No. I'm saying that. It says it has been suggested that a higher stroke death rate in the stroke belt are due to the region's high African American population, because African American stroke death rates are higher than the national average. However, the higher death rates in the stroke belt cannot be attributed solely to the region's high population of African Americans.
But I will bet that you can tie this back to policies that likely date back 100%. To slavery, to make sure that the black people don't have any type of help or resource. And then again, one of the states in there is Mississippi. Right. One of the most voter states or voter suppressed states.
Yeah, well, it's also
the highest population of black people.
Yes, it's 33%, I believe.
So
the reason we don't have universal health care is because of fucking racism.
100%. That is. By the way,
literally the reason why we don't have universal health, because if you did that, you'd have to give niggas health care, and they was like, no thanks. That's the truth. Y'all can look that up.
I will never forget a story.
We would rather suffer than to help them as well. That's the mentality.
I would never forget a story I read about a Trump supporter in Texas, I think, and her husband got pregnant, and she had to have an abortion, but she was past whatever deadline that Texas set, and they went to her parents, and I think her husband said that he had to beg her parents for money to go out of state so that way she can get an abortion, or else she will lose her life too. And he was like, I don't want, like, we can find a way to have other kids if we can get there on time, but I don't want to lose my wife. And her parents were like, but we don't really believe in abortion and stuff like that. They eventually gave in. But imagine having to go to your family and say, like, it's my life that's on the line, and I need this life-saving procedure. And they're just like,
we got to end this.
They're still trepidatious.
No. We got to end this because I'm going to get really fucking mad. Like, that is so unbelievably gross to me. Well, we don't really believe in it. Bitch, who cares what you believe?
Texas is a very big state. So if they had to drive out of Texas,
that's insane.
That's a long drive, dog.
That's your kid. And you're like,
maybe
you'll die. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe You could just keep a
Yeah, but
tumor
pro-life-
and then fucking
I'm
pray on it
pro-life,
and get the
though.
toxins out in a magical way. Like, come on, yo. Come on. That story, by the way, that story of what's her name from fucking MTV really pissed me off.
Ananda Lewis.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm
and
really-
I'm pissed off for you, yo, and at you at the same time. What are you doing? Come on,
Yeah.
yo.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that and I got really upset.
Fucking
primarily because
dark ages, man. We're in the fucking dark ages. It's ridiculous.
I just lost a close friend of mine to breast cancer, and she did everything she could to fight, and
Right.
still lost her battle. So to read that and just, I'm like, what do you likely have the resources and stuff that a lot of people don't have.
Right.
Just
Like
throwing
she had it's stage 3 when she found out what she had, and then she was like, I don't want no chemotherapy. And now it's stage 4, which means you can still treat it, but like it's metastasized, so you're probably going to die within the next 10 years, if not shorter.
Yeah,
And you're only 50. That's crazy, but you know, Dr. Sebi, whatever the fuck whatever nonsense that she was trying to follow. I want my fucking, I don't know. It just made me mad. I'm like, come on, yo.
Yeah, you gotta be better.
Anyway,
all right, this is a wild end of show.
like everything just pisses me off, you know.
Yeah.
Everything.
Can we just
Makes
get
me
it
mad.
together? Like, I guess at the end of the day, don't throw your life away. Like that's the argument. Or your
That's
vote.
the theme of the episode. Or your vote.
Don't throw your vote away, your life. Come on, man, do better.
And look,
Do
if
better.
you throw your vote away, you might as well throw your life away at this point.
And if you're a parent, I'm sorry to say this, but your children do not owe you their lives
They don't.
and their futures. They don't. And if that's how you feel, please do not have kids. And if you have kids already, go to therapy or just give them away. I don't know. I don't know where you put kids you don't want.
The internet? I don't know.
Like you put them on a doorstep of a church. That's
Put them on Amazon. I don't know.
it's like you just drop them off in front of a Catholic church.
Yeah, that's fine.
You don't need to be a
Pick a
parent.
different church. Pick a different church.
Oh,
different-
yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
I'm
different denomination.
The way to tie it back to the movie. Be better parents.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be willing to sacrifice your happiness for your children. That's a part of your job. It just is. All right. We will see you guys next week for another preview episode for episode 271. Later, guys.
Take it easy.
Bye.
You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.